Hey guys, welcome to the studio. So my camera is not working because my capture card died due to a power outage or something. But that aside, as you can see by the thumbnail and the 3D model in front of me, I designed and printed out Tendou Audisu's Railgun from Blue Archive. And this project is a commission for a friend who I will be hand delivering at Anime Expo 2025. But that aside, I'm going to go ahead and showcase the 3D model and show you guys how to assemble it, some things to note, and some caveats as well. Now, as you can see, this is probably going to be a very chunky, very large 3D print. There's going to be a lot of pieces, and even when printing at fairly low infill, it's gonna weigh roughly 27 pounds. So depending on what convention you're going to, if they have rules against certain weight limits for props, like a lot of California cons, honestly, fuck those rules, but what can you do? You're gonna need to take these into consideration before pursuing this project. That aside, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So starting off, we have the muzzle here. This is a fairly chunky piece. It should be able to print on a 200 millimeter squared 3D printer fairly well. And just print it with the very front facing down and you should be good. As you can see, there are going to be a lot of support rods involved. There are a lot of pieces and a lot of connections to be made. Here is muzzle 2. Here is muzzle top L1. As you can see, this is designed as kind of a super hollow with these connection points here. You can 3D print a lot of pieces with very low infill, but that still consumes a lot of material and takes a lot of time, especially for chunky pieces. So non-structural pieces like this, I just designed it to be very hollow, and that way it will reduce the weight, especially in the front. Here is Muzz top L2. Here is Muzz top R1. R2. Here is bot L1, L2. Here is bot R1 and R2. And as you can see, this makes up the bulk of the front of the railgun. Here is mid A top, and as you can see, it just connects using these rods connection points here, as well as to the side area. And then there is also this mirrored bottom piece here. They're both the same. Here is the mid B, and it connects through these connection points here. You can just paint the wooden dowel black that is exposed, and the connection points, the size of them will be 5/16 inch or 8 millimeter rods. There's also this mirrored piece here. There is this barrel 1 piece, and right now it's kind of just floating here, but it will all connect and I will show you that later. One thing to note with the barrel 1 piece, you're going to want to print this out and then start soldering or start attaching the LED strips while the other pieces are printing, because it will take quite a while. And then just attach the LED strips onto the grooves on the interior. But you're going to want to wire it radially, and then just wire like 2 strips at a time and then test it before you just wire the whole thing and then test it, and then you only see like 2 or 3 that are lighting up. And then you're going to want to plan to include a wire that will lead to the back or mid and back section of the entire prop. That way you can connect other pieces to your battery source. Here is barrel 2 and here is barrel 3. So for this panel piece here, what I just did was I glued like this blue translucent plastic thing. I don't even know what material it was, and then added like a printer paper on the back of that just to diffuse some light, and then just include 1 blue LED strip on the interior here. That way it can create a nice glowing effect on both sides, and you'll be able to see that in the sample video after I create the prototype. Here is side top L1. Here is L2, L3, L4, and on the bottom side we have L1, L2, L3, L4. And as you can see here, there is like a connection piece for the wooden dowels. But the thing is, I kind of messed up and I just had like one connection part like down here and on the mirrored side. And I'll definitely include some other connection points like on the side here where there's plenty of space. That way it can have a lot better structural integrity. But that aside, here is the top R1, R2, R3, R4. Here is bottom R1, R2, R3, R4. Right here is the handle 1, and this is not a structural handle unless you use a 8mm aluminum rod and then have the rod go all the way through. Just use some epoxy resin or super glue and it should be able to be a lot stronger. Now, since this is a very bulky prop, you might want to use like a shoulder strap and then weave that strap in between through this space right here. That way it can help alleviate some of the weight off of your arms as you're carrying it. Here's handle 1, or handle 2 I mean, and handle 3. They're kind of floating right now, but they'll connect up later. Here is top panel 1. Here is top panel 2. There is this bit of a spacer here, but still, it's a very simple, straightforward connection. Here is B frame 1. We're going to move on to the back pieces now. Here is B frame 2, B frame 3, B frame 4. A lot of these pieces are a little funky, but there's kind of no getting around that with the way it's designed. Here is B frame 5 and B frame 6. This piece should connect and slot in very snugly. Here is back panel L1. Here is panel 2 on the left side, and it should connect to the main structural piece at these points right here. And then here is R back panel 1 and panel 2. And then down here we have the yellow canister. Just print this with a semi-translucent or transparent yellow filament, and then include like and then install like 4 yellow LED strips on the interior, favoring the top side. That way the light will shine downward, and then it should be able to fuse it fairly well. Here's the rear rocket, and same piece here. They're both the same. And here's the rear bottom. Here's the rear L, and then here's rear R. I might alter the rear rocket pieces to include like a small hole. Otherwise, you can just use your slicer to just add like a small hole, and then you'd be able to wire in like a LED and then add like a small translucent, maybe transparent panel that's just 3D printed. That way you can add a little rocket glowing effect as well. I didn't do it for the prototype, but that is an option. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for the railgun. Certain pieces like this sort of piece right here, you can just use like some glowing in the dark epoxy resin, and then in a normal environment where it's getting some sunlight and you walk into a dark space, it'll glow fairly well. Otherwise, you can blast it with a UV flashlight or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or want to reach out to me to have this scaled down, or if you want to scale it down yourself, go ahead and let me know. But yeah, go ahead and comment down below if you have any questions. If you like this video, go ahead and like it if you want, and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'm going to try and work on some more projects. I already have this other project that I finished. I just need to edit the video. But yeah. That aside, that's going to be pretty much it for now, and see ya! Okay, as you can see, it's pretty huge. I definitely need to add a bit more reinforcement on some parts. But yeah, let me get this thing focused. Focus, you piece of shit. All right, and then let me turn off the lights. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. Very, very big, very bulky. It works as an oversized flashlight pretty well. But yeah, not bad, not bad. I'm definitely going to add like a shoulder strap or something. That way I can more easily distribute the weight whenever my friend is carrying it during the convention.